He's friendly. He's very friendly.
Okay, then it's 3.5, and I think most of the people are in. Welcome again, everybody. So nice to see so many participants who are interested in our session today, and welcome to the fourth Leica conversation today. For those of you who are joining the first time, within our Leica conversations, we are always going to talk to different photographers or artists, and we want to know more about their story that they want to tell us. And today's story is Singing in the Dark. And to give you a little bit of an idea what does that mean, we have our friend, photographer, Leica instructor today with us, Casey from Singapore. Hello, Casey.
Hi.
Hi, Casey. How are you? How is home office for photographer?
It's pretty good. You have time to sit down and arrange your photographs. Well, it's a bit boring. You can't walk outside. Well, you can always carry a camera around, shoot in your house,
so you
and
can
clean your camera.
How many photos you have to arrange approximately? I'm always curious when it comes to photographers because I know sometimes they have thousands of.
I don't have a lot. I lost quite a bit of collection, but my currently I about 200,000 photos to go through again. Whatever I have, and then relook at them and then see whether I can re-edit them into a different manner that I want to. Yeah.
Okay, that was the amount that I expected. Okay, Casey, today's topic, singing in the dark. So for those of you, also me, who are not really sure what the title is telling us, I would like to ask you, please give us a little bit of the insights. So what does that title mean for you, and how you get into that topic that we are discussing today?
Okay. So it was really about 7-8 years ago, and near my office, a group of opera singers set up stage, and then normally this happens in July in Singapore, and then they start performing near my office, and out of curiosity, I sort of go there, visit them as they are playing their opera, and then I sneak up the backstage and then start shooting. So now I found that they are not they are really struggling to make the troupe alive. They have their Facebook page. They try to propagate the news. Now, from time to time, they perform in the neighborhood estates. So I am interested in just photographing them, telling them the story, telling their stories. I never thought of so-called showcase it anywhere. It's just for my own documentary, because I think that this is very local. This is Teochew opera. It's about 400 years old, and it is very popular within the Southeast Asian countries. And inside this particular opera, they are trying to survive, and all of them have day jobs, and they sort of come together and then sort of make something out of it. They are not performing at the esplanade, they are performing at the neighborhoods. And sometimes they use buckets, they use different props, everyday things to represent different props. So, and from a time where they still have their Facebook page, and now they even close down their Facebook page. So I just document them for 7-8 years, as whenever they are performing, if I'm free, I will just go by and shoot. That's it. Yeah, that's how this project comes about. So that's why they are singing in the dark. They are not.
So when we're having a look at your first picture on the title screen, as I understand right, that you catch the attention from that group was more or less by accident because they were performing in front of your house. But what was it that kept your attention for 8 straight years, that you felt like I want to be within these people and I want to tell their story for such a long time? I mean, that's a long-term project that you have done?
Yeah, I never believe in after 2-3 hour sessions, after a few months of following something, and then you close the book. I like to sort of tell the story as and when, and I know that I can get out of the story, I can go back in again. To me, as the troop progress on, I'll just photograph them as and when I want. Some years I photograph them with different equipments. Some years I just take certain portion of the performance. So this is sort of a long-term project for me, and I never thought of ending it. I just sort of let it flow and see what is the outcome. Yeah.
You said that this kind of opera, the Chucho opera, is kind of an art form, and I know that you are also doing kind of an art. It's Aikido, if I'm right. Is that something that inspires you, or would you say like it has at least an effect on your work, especially in this topic, so that an
Yeah.
artist can better understand other artists?
Yes, in a way. You see, these are whether it's Aikido, it's opera, or it's photography, it is a skill. And I think if you love what you do that much, I think you do it every day. You try to perfect the skill. And in this case, you see that they are struggling, and yet they hold it so dearly towards themselves that they try to so-called perform. They try to do as much as they can. They are not performing in front of thousands and thousands of people, but they are performing every day, every alternate month at the neighborhoods. When there is occasions, they if people book them, they set up the stage themselves and then they perform. That's the thing. It's a skill, and then I think they hold it very dearly to themselves. Yeah.
Okay. So for everybody who have maybe joined us a little bit later, welcome to also you guys, and welcome to the Leica conversation that we are doing today. Today's topic is singing in the dark in the Chinese opera, and we are here with our friend and photographer Casey. And yeah, Casey, let's just start and let's have us a look at the first picture. So please let us join on your journey over here and give us a little bit of background. What do we see here, and what is the background in your pictures?
Okay. So this is taken in 1/4, and what this guy is actually in charge of. If I'm not, he was in charge of the Facebook page of the troupe. Then I have a few photographs of this guy, and then he was just resting behind and the performance. Now, on that particular so-called night, he was actually busy messaging in the Facebook group, telling people to come down. So I found him quite interesting, and then eventually, I think he still performed in the opera, but they sort of dropped the Facebook thingy. It's not working for them somehow. Yeah.
It's funny. I have to say he doesn't really look like a social media manager. So they have
Oh,
the different. Everybody of them have different jobs then.
yes, yes.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one. I guess now we are in the changing room of them.
Yeah. Is yeah. So normally there's a backstage, and there is the stage is the front of the stage. So this is actually at the backstage. Now they set up the stage themselves. That's one thing, and the next thing is actually it's always dimly lit. There's always in light bulbs and very dimly lit, and then there's not much place for it. There's no such thing as a changing room or something. Everybody do their own makeup. Everybody is working on their own thing, and it's just one area for them to work on. So this is and this stage is set up about 1 to 1.5 meter above the ground. So that's how high it's going to be. When you have to climb up the backstage, and then you can start shooting from there at the same level. Now in this case, the girl is doing some makeup and then preparing to go onto the stage. Yeah.
So they have no crew at all. Like everybody is doing their costume, their makeup, is practicing their performance
Yeah.
and all these things. So they all do that by themselves. No background.
Yes. No. Yeah. And then they have to set up the stage, and the thing is, everybody help out to get the show going.
So, but if people wants to see that, of course they have to pay for it, or is it for free?
Okay, normally these operas, actually there are two types of performances. Those that perform at the temple, and that's where the main bulk of the money comes in, because temple will normally employ them to do performance. And then the rest will be during the 7th month, or the so-called the September months, where they do perform at so-called markets, or even neighborhoods. And then these are so-called the wet markets will so-called employ them, and then they'll sell a performance there. So in this case, this is performed at Bedok itself, the wet market there. So they'll sell the performance in the car park or everything, and then they perform for 2-3 days. Yes, but normally all these staffs, these performance, they have day jobs. So these are all happening at night.
Okay. Interesting. So let's go on to the next one. And maybe before we jump into having a look at what is happening here, I'm curious, like, these people, did they accept you from the first day to be around them, or how long does it take you to be confident with them and that they are not afraid of you being around?
Okay. No, they are okay, but they don't accept you right away. So it takes about 2 years to just go out, and then you can go and shoot around. I remember the first time I was up there, it's yeah, sometimes I get scolding because I was hindering the performance. So you don't step in, you watch where you are standing, and then make sure you don't disturb the performance. So sometimes they are quite reluctant to let people to come in, but recent years has been getting better and better, because they want more people to know about this Teochew opera, so they are more accepting now. 7 years ago, no.
But what has changed from the beginning to the end? I mean, did they
I think, yeah.
you
Sorry.
when you try to take a picture of them in the beginning, and what was different in the end? So did they accept you like as a member of their team, or a friend?
They most likely accept that I've been around in most of the opera, but more of I am sort of there to just document them. I did tell them that I just want to take photographs. I'm quite simple with them. But what I think beginning is, you should not go too near. I don't think so. Just don't disturb what they are doing, and don't ask them to pose. They have their work. Let them do their work. You just there to observe, and that's what I did.
I think that's, I mean, also a little bit important for a lot of our listeners, because I mean, a lot of people are taking photos, and everybody is quite curious, how can they work without disturbing people? So how can they be as quiet and silent as possible? So what is your secret when you approach people in that way?
Okay, basically I have certain rules when I'm shooting. I I don't like people to disturb me when I'm working. So in that case, when people are working or concentrate in their arts, I think that I should just shoot as what is presented to me. That's why sometimes the project gets a bit longer in this case, 7-8 years, and maybe more. But as you just let the situation present itself, you are there as an observer, you take from a distance. Okay, if you are fast, you can go in closer. Okay, but never disturb them, never stop what they are doing, but just document what is presented in front of you. That's my take.
Okay.
That's to me, because when I'm working, I don't like people to come in and then stop me and then ask certain things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what do we see over here then? Seems like
Yeah, this he's changing actually. He's sort of inside the changing room, and then I sort of grab it in the instant that he was actually tying up the gown. He's actually halfway during his performance, and was changing and then prepared to go for the next set. Yeah.
Okay, then let's go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so at least a little bit technical equipment.
Okay.
The fan over there and the other old power supply. Okay, so it seems like it's not really professional in the background, like with all that makeup, mirrors and all that stuff. So they have to help themselves.
Yes, they have to sell themselves. It is as raw as it can be, and it's hot. Yeah, sometimes the season is hot, and then it's everywhere is sweating, and then they are trying to cool themselves down during the performance time. Yeah.
We have one question here from Andrew. He's asking if all the performers are men or is it mixed?
The performance are mixed. Okay. Mostly are men. 5 years ago are mostly Singaporeans, I would say, and then there are a few female, which is cool. And then recently I see Thais in the performance. A few Thai nationals, which apparently speak excellent Teochew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I guess as from what I can observe right now, okay, maybe mixed women and men, but the average age is quite high. It seems like that, right? So
Yes. Yes, it's quite high.
For that we haven't seen young people in the first.
No, not much young people. The youngest is the guy just now in the first picture. That was Dan, 7 years older now. The younger, no, not young. Both are 50s, 60s. Yeah, no.
So what is the issue? Are the younger generation are they not interested anymore in this art form?
It's difficult to find people who likes Teochew opera, can learn this art, and then somehow have to speak Teochew. And then I think it's difficult to find local youngsters that really love this, and then nobody want to set up the stage in the middle of the night.
Okay. So before we are having a closer look at your next picture, we have some questions regarding the color. So we see color in the first picture. So first question is are these shots monochrome or did you post process it? Second
Okay.
picture, is there a reason? And the second question would be: is there a reason why they are in black and white?
Oh, okay. First thing is this is taken in 2014. I was shooting this with an M240. It was post-processed to black and white. I don't know, because during that year I was just like, ooh, okay, black and white. I sort of used that lens that year, that model, and then I post-processed the whole series of it. I love it in black and white in that particular series. That's why it was in black and white. Later on, you'll see that there are some that I sort of choose the so-called every year when I go back to shoot them. Every time I shoot them, I'll either process the whole series in certain colors that I want, or certain black and white that I want. But I always select just a few lenses, one camera, few lenses to tell the story, because I know that the next year when I go back again, you'll be another type of feeling, and that's why the whole project you've got a mix of black and white colors, but all are in a certain that represent that year what I want to show. That's it. Yeah. And
So today the pictures we are going to see are from two different sessions, and we can separate them by black and white. And then when we switch to the color version, we can guess like we are jumping from year 2014 to 2017, right? So
Yeah.
3 years later. Another question that we have over here, and guys, thank you very much for asking so much questions, because actually it shows that we are not so boring. They're asking, is there a specific reason why you shoot like only this Choo group, or did you also reach out for other dialects like Hokkien?
No, it was dropped onto me. I never go and venture to shoot other groups. I did encounter other groups before. There's a lot of different types of opera that is existed in our Chinese culture. All are different. I mean, this already take up a lot of my time. It sort of dropped in front of me. So I like the whatever that dropped on me, and I go and venture around it. To me, it is something that I would want to discover and then preserve, and then hopefully if somebody knows about it or wants something about it, I can show it to them. It was never to it's my own so-called, it's my own thought, and it's my own way of preserving what is happening around me. That's simple. Let's put it in that manner.
Let's come back to the picture that we are seeing here. So for me, honestly, this picture is a really good example for our topic today, singing in the dark. But I mean, singing in the dark would be fine. But when it comes to shooting in the dark, I know that photographers are struggling a lot when it comes to low light situations like this. So as you explained earlier in the other picture, we have very limited light sources over here. So I think a lot of our listeners would be interested in what have you used in that specific picture, for example, that you are able to shoot such a picture in such low light condition.
Okay. This particular series, when I was there that year, I was using a Nautilus version 1, F1, and then it was a version 4 Nautilus F1. Then I used a M240. Focusing is of course difficult, but it's still manageable. This is because I want to able to show as naturally as possible how dimly lit the backstage is, and it sort of gives the whole mood of the picture, and then to feel that how the performers are so-called behaving in the backstage, and then as how they blend into the background, and the background sort of so-called defocus away, and then make the subject shine itself. Yeah, that's and if you look at it, because there are so many things cluttered on the table, so sort of bring the mood of the picture out. Yeah, and not just clashed. Put everything in sharp focus and flash.
Do you have a tip for us how to do that? Because as you mentioned, when you're shooting with open aperture, would be quite challenging to find the right focus. So how do you do that? And you will make sure.
Well, one simple trick is very simple. When you are focusing with even any M lens, move your lens to always reset your lens after you are done pressing the shutter, and then move only in one direction. That means I always reset to 0.7, and then I will just move in one direction. Once I hit focus, I will snap. And not to always remember to reset your lens and then move in one direction. This will eliminate your so-called chances of trying to find your focus back and forth, but just one direction. So this is through constant practice. Then next thing is you have to really know how to so-called manage your equipment. especially lenses like Nautilus with the Leica M. It has to be serviced, it has to be maintained, and to ensure that it is, because it's a precise instrument, so it has to be maintained and make sure that everything is working in top condition. And when you are doing a shoot, you know that it will perform to what is being expected. Yeah.
We have one question over here asking for what do you mean by 0.7? I don't think.
Okay. So if you are using a 1.4, the minimum focusing distance, you go to the 0.7 minimum focusing distance. And then as you so-called focus, so you are moving from 0.7 minimum focus to infinity. So when you hit the focus point, you stop. And then you shoot. You don't move back and forth, back and forth.
Okay, so
yeah, got it. Thanks.
let's move on to the next one. For everybody who has also maybe joined us a little bit later than when we started, welcome to you guys also. We are here today at the Leica conversation with our friend and photographer Casey, and we are having a look at his shots from the Chinese opera. So, and for everybody who's asking questions, please don't be mad at me if we maybe go on with some images and then answering the questions later, because at some point, of course, also we want to keep the attention high for everybody who's listening. But to be totally honest, we have enough time at the end to answer every question. So just in case I'm missing some of the questions, just ask them at the end again, and then yeah, we are glad to answer them all. So over here, I think this is one of the few people who are actually only in the background, right? So this is the orchestra of the opera.
Yeah, this is the orchestra of the opera. So in this case, I am at the left side of the stage. So this is where all the so-called musical instruments are being kept, and then that's where all the so-called, now the drums are always kept at the right side of the stage. Then these musical instruments are on the left. So it's like a temple. It's like in a temple. The arrangement in a temple, a proper temple. So when you enter the temple, the when you are facing outwards of the temple, the left side is always bells and the right side is always drums. So this is on the left side of the stage. Now, yeah, they are playing their musical instruments, singing along. Yeah.
Is there a specific reason for that? That's always left and right. I mean, I've never seen such a ceremony. So does it always have to be this way?
Okay. So if you notice, in the old days, in the emperor always have scholars and generals. The generals are always on the right side where they will have a drum, which means to charge. So they will sound the drums. To retreat, there's the bell side, which is on the left side, which is the left side. So I'm talking about as you are facing the door, the main stage. So you are sitting on the stage facing out. So this is the side you are on, yeah.
So we are not only getting a little bit of art today, we're also going.
Yes, it's all from traditions all the way down. Yes.
We have one question here, coming back to approaching those people. So there was an earlier question: if you speak this dialect, and if not, how do you approach them then? So if you are not able to talk to them in their dialect.
Oh no, they speak Chinese. They speak English. Yes, they're Singaporeans.
So it's no problem for
No,
you.
it's no problem. They'll be happier if you speak Teochew. Yeah. So
Do you do?
the Teochew, that's the dialect that mostly they know how they are going.
Do you speak this dialect?
No, I don't. I only speak Chinese. I speak Singlish. That's the only thing I'm good at.
Is it totally different? Like for me, who has no clue about it, do you understand that dialect even if you're not able to speak it?
Difficult to understand, but I mean, if you know Chinese, you should be able to guess what they are speaking. But this is just they speak English. They are okay. They speak Chinese also. Quite surprisingly, yes.
This reminds me of our most difficult dialect in Germany. So when you go to Bavaria, sometimes you don't know, even as a German, which language they are speaking. So very hard to guess. Maybe it's the same, a little bit the same here, over here. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Now we are back to Backstage.
Yeah.
So do they have like, for example, during the opera performance, whoever who is not performing is going to the back and relaxing or refreshing makeup and all that stuff?
Unless there's a change of role, they'll refresh their makeup, but mostly are relaxing. And so this is shot with there's three particular in this particular shot. I took about 3 frames, and then I was satisfied with this one because of the fan, how he actually fan, and then the way it's being his expression on it. But most of this is time when they are relaxing. I don't think it's an intermission. It's more of like just somebody's performing in front and they're just sitting down waiting for their turn to go up. Yeah.
For me, honestly, it seems a little bit like they are a little bit like, I don't know, frustrated or not in a good mood because all of them, they're looking a little bit sad. So am I wrong, or is this how it is in reality? So is there a little bit tension behind the
I don't think it's a tension, but more is they're hot. It's really hot. Look at the amount of fans. One thing, and he himself is just fanning. It's really hot.
Because for me it seems like they were a little bit, unhappy. So we
no.
haven't seen a picture right now where somebody is like smiling or something like that.
I mean, they are all busy, and then normally if I don't mess with them, and then they'll just do their own thing. So they are as they were presented in front of me. Yeah.
Okay. So another little bit technical question before we move on to the next picture. When you're shooting with the M, do you use spot metering or center weighted metering?
Oh, I like the classic so-called metering of the M, so it's always 60% center weighted, yes. And use if it is M240, I think you can select classic metering. Yeah.
And do you post process a lot?
Basically,
that's it.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. So the main thing about processing is this: you have to know where are your limits. Basically, I adjust mostly the limits of printing, and then the curves to make sure that I have what I want, and then that's about it. Yeah. So that you see, the job of the photographer is to ensure that whatever you take, all the colors, the whether it's black and white or if it's color, it has to be able to be printed on a piece of paper. So and there are so-called certain guidelines of what is the printer looking at and what are you doing towards your picture. So if you are taking this particular picture, you must ensure that whatever is important to you and 100% it can be represented on a piece of paper. So I always try to ensure that it's like take a photo to print with the print in mind. Yeah.
But is that always possible in such difficult light situations? I mean, I guess you sometimes have just black spots which you can't print. So
yeah, that's why the amount of black that is being adjusted has to be very careful. whether it is an important so-called, the first thing is where is the limit and what kind of paper you want to be printed on, and then what are the shades of black that is being so-called accepted by the printers. Then the next thing you have to think about whether the darkness that you are putting down, are they important to you or are they not important to you? If it has to go in terms of technical and rationality. So first thing is you make sure that your technicals are all to the limit, and then within the limits, and then of course whether you want to so-called show or don't want to show your prints, the details in certain things in the prints in that manner. So these are the things that has to be thought of when you're doing editing. Yeah.
Okay, understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on then. I guess another very hot area.
Yeah, yeah. This one is actually this is how they did makeup, and that is actually sort of a calligraphy pen that they used to do makeup on their face. Yeah.
How long does it usually take for them to be ready, like with everything, the clothes, makeup, etc.?
Okay, I think about an hour plus. Sometimes it's more difficult. Yeah. So the normal ones is about 30 minutes. They can get ready and then they can just go. Yeah.
There's one question here related to the light bulbs. So how did you make sure that you not have overexposed areas when you have such bright light sources like the bulbs?
So when you are shooting digital, you got more options. When you're shooting digital, you can mostly underexpose a bit to ensure that you don't overexpose, because you know that the dark areas you're able to punch it up. The difficult ones is when you are doing film, and that is difficult, and especially you are doing positive slides. You have to be very precise. You have to know that the metering of every so-called the highlights, the midtones and the darkness. So you select one metering and you are able to get it correct. So in this case, M240 is quite forgiving. You are able to play a lot with it. So most of this I tend to shoot about 1/3 under, but it's the choice of metering, where you choose to meter, that is important. Okay, that coincides with what kind of metering you are using. If you are using multi-exposure metering, then it's a whole different ball game. Over in this, I'm using 60% center weighted, choosing the correct area to expose, to read, and then how much to underexpose if I need to. So these are the things. So one have to understand that if you want to create a more so-called punchier or more contrasty picture, you need to move down towards the darker side of the curve. And if you need to create a more flatter picture, you need to move up towards the brighter side of the curve. So it's a choice of which or what you want to create.
One more question related to this one that we see over here. Do you remember which aperture it was that you shot with? And another one is the flare from the light bulb inherent from the shot?
I mean, if this particular picture, I think I'm about I'm at f1 if I'm not wrong, and 250th of a second. I'm using ISO 640. Okay, and that's the light bulb. Which say again? Which
I think this was from the previous photo that we've seen.
Oh, previous one. Okay. Yeah, yes, it does affect a bit. So no. So sorry. If it is the previous picture, it's about f1 and it's about 1/45 at ISO 640. And what I choose is I choose to so-called take the reading not at the light bulb, but at the cloth, the big background cloth, so to have a more so-called mid-tone reading, and then how I want to play around that. Yeah.
Okay then. I think we are almost done with the 2014 series. So
Yeah.
now we are getting from backstage to front stage.
Yeah. So this is front stage.
In this picture, they are actually acting. So is the opera ongoing?
Yeah, the opera is ongoing. Yes.
How much?
So from sorry.
No,
Sorry.
please go ahead.
From the banner of the opera, this opera is set up during the September month of the Chinese calendar to celebrate one of the deity's birthday. So yeah, so this is the opera that was ongoing in front. Yeah.
To be honest, I've never had even the chance to see something like that. So are they always singing, or is this combined with singing and acting? So how does it work, or do they just
So
sing along?
okay, the operas actually have the music, singing, and then there are martial arts, and some even have acrobats and acting. So it's a combination. You need to see what is the play about. And there are 4 types of character inside any Chinese opera, 4 different journals of characters, and then they sort of they're specialized. The actors' performance are specialized in them. Yeah.
So you also could join maybe with your Aikido skills.
No, that's different. That's totally different.
Okay, so now we switch over from 2014 to 2017, and maybe before we have a look in this one, what was the decision that you decided now from going from black and white to color?
Okay. Yeah, I have a SL that time, so I sort of on that year I bought the SL with the SL lenses, and then just they happened to be there, and then let's go and shoot it. And then I was shooting with a 90-80, and then also a 51.4 in that particular session when I have it with them. So it is an improvement of the camera, and then SL perform nicely on dark and low light area. So I just use it for that particular shoot and for that particular year. Yeah.
And which one do you prefer? Which one would you choose if you have only one choice to make? Would it be SL or M?
I don't sort of I believe the tools can change, and then it's sort of you select whatever that's been so-called presented in front of you, and then you learn the best of everything and then try to perfect. It's like maybe if well, it's like you can carry any sword, but you have to learn how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the sword can change, but you have to learn how to work to the limit of your tools.
Okay.
And once you know that, you have to learn. Yeah, that's it.
So there's no perfect choice for this environment. I mean, you can work with both.
Yeah, you have to perfect your skills. That's important.
So then the people have to approach you in case they need to improve their skills, or they think they need to improve, they can approach you, so you will teach them.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good to know. I guess here in this one, this is the guy from the first screen, right? So from the title screen, it looks like one and the same person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's sort of the same person. He got older. Yeah. Correct. No more Facebook. No. He's actually that during that time he was actually learning the script, yeah, I just take a stab at it. That's it. Yeah. And it was using, it's just a different view. And then because in this case, when I have the 90-80, I can actually so-called more concentrated on the subject. Yeah.
In general, when you are shooting, I mean, doesn't matter in this occasion or something else, do you focus more on your technique or your instinct? So is that something that you really consider, how to set the camera and all that stuff, or are you just as good, as I said, that you don't have to think about it, you just do it by instinct?
Okay. Let me put it in this way. This is what somebody taught me. You practice your technique every day. And when you want to go for a shoot, you enjoy the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go there and practice your technique because that's too late. It's like you are going to war and then you start to learn all your techniques. No. It's just, you sort of practice every day. You can practice by shooting your family members. You can practice by shooting anything. It's just practice. But when you are going for a shoot, you enjoy. You forget about what you practice. You just go and enjoy. So because that one your every day should support you whatever you need.
Yeah.
That's how I think I would put it, and that's why I carry the camera every day. I try to shoot, and it can be a picture of your family member. It can be a picture of your child, your parents. Doesn't matter, but it can be used on any equipment. But the thing is, you practice, and then when you are shooting, it's enjoy. Your time to enjoy. Yeah.
But you said you have the camera with you every day. So how do you separate it between practice and joy? I mean, is there, for a photographer, is there even a difference? Every
I
day?
mean, sorry. I mean, you discover, you try to shoot in a different manner. That's where you practice. But when you go for a shoot like this, I mean, relax. I mean, you are not trying to compete something. You just do what you normally do. Become a norm. That's it. The reason why you take out the camera every day is to make sure that you know how to focus, you know how to work with things. You can focus quickly. If you are using manual focus, you know what you want to do something that is different. That is where you train yourself. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on here. Before we have a look at that, was there anything that has changed in these 3 years? So from 2014 to 2017, which differences did you discover?
Oh, they got buckets and everything on the stage. The props went a bit crazy. So when I was in 2017, they have buckets. They use buckets as props. They use alternatives. They use handphones for certain things. Yeah, that's what I feel. But yeah, it's still them. They are still performing. It's just different. It's just they still have the vibe to it. And they are holding it very dearly. So I kind of enjoy that.
So
And they're friendlier towards me. Yeah.
Improved in terms of technical equipment.
Yeah.
And Heming, look at that one. I mean, this is, I think, by far the most colorful picture that we have seen today. What did you enjoy more? Was it the black and white series, or was it shooting in color? Because I mean, if you have such bright colors in this scenery, sometimes I think it would be a shame if you missed that out, right? Or would you say like black and white is better fitting for these situations?
I don't choose like that. I don't say that certain thing has to be black and white, certain thing has to be color. You have to understand that if you start, it is all you. I mean, it's how you perceive, how you look at the situation, how you want to present what you feel, and and that meant a lot for me, I think, because if you start black and white, it is color. It's just that it is in a different form of presenting. That's why I don't miss anything, because I've been shooting this particular subject for many years. I can say, okay, today I will do black and white. Today, tomorrow, next year I will do color. It doesn't matter. I think ultimately, to me, more important is I'm there to just have fun, understand a bit more this year compared to last year about this thing that I'm trying to know, to understand, and hopefully they don't disappear. That's to me far more important. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So for everybody who has joined us at this later hours, welcome to you guys also. And today we are singing in the dark together with KC. And yeah, we are having a look at the next picture where I think they're actually singing. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, this
bucket you earlier.
Yeah, this is the bucket that that happened to use that year. So yeah, that's the thing. This particular year, I think I spent quite a bit of time in front of the stage, and it was interesting. It is just they sort of impromptu their props, yeah, and that's to me is something different. Yeah.
So first session was more focused on the backstage things happening, and then you've decided to move over to the front stage. Was it because you discovered everything in the backstage, or was it just because of that now I'm going to shoot a new perspective?
No, I just want to shoot a new perspective, and then I see who is performing, and then how is it working on. Yeah.
Okay. A little side question before we are having a look at the next one. What do you shoot during this period over here? Your
Okay.
your animals at home, or everything that is outside of the window?
Well, I shoot my children most of the time. I did shoot a lot of empty playgrounds, people in masks, and then some because when I'm buying stuff, and then I just bring the camera along and then just snap. Yeah, that's people, and then people wearing masks, people walking, buying their food stuff. Yeah.
And I guess your children, they have never enough of being shooted, right? I know that the children, they really like it to be shot because they feel like the star at home then.
Oh yeah, my children like to be shot at. Yeah, correct. They got no choice, actually.
I mean, who has after it's done? Who has the choice? So, as I know that this is your favorite picture from the whole series, right? So, please tell us why. I mean, you said you have a couple of thousands on your desktop, and there must be a reason when you say like this is one of my favorite.
I like this because this is, I mean, that he is pretty tired and pretty sad in this, and then it shows how has this thing goes for the past 7 years. Now, I can't remember when I met him, but he sort of showcased the whole thing, and then this was done with a 9280, and then I was standing near the edge of the stage, in fact, when I'm shooting this one. Yeah, I in the at the end of that year, I actually shot a portrait of this guy. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that they are all doing it not for a living. So you said they're all having side jobs. So there must be a reason they're still maintaining doing it. And I mean, he's not the only one who's looking a little bit sad, right? So
No, he's not. But
I mean, in
sorry.
general, do you think they still enjoy what they are doing?
I believe so. If not, they won't be doing it for so long. I met them last year, and then bring a group of friends. Actually, went to shoot them, photograph them, and then they're quite happy. And last year I did mainly in film, in a Leica M6 film. I sort of want to document the story in film rather than in digital. So that's a change. Yeah, it's lucky that they're still around. Yeah.
What is different when you shoot in film? Do you think this delivers the message better or in a different way? Because
Well, it is.
nowadays a lot of people are discussing about going back to film, and this I think has an increase in the yeah.
I think you can't get the black and whites. You can't get the colors from. It's like that's you. First thing is you have to be you train yourself to be more confident when you're shooting film. You are trying to get back that 100-year-old color as going as maybe that 30, 40, 50 years old, depending on which film that you like. But I like the organicness of it. I like the that you are actually so-called looking at it in a different manner, and I like to try out different media and then just test it out. I mean, yeah.
Okay, then understand. And we are backstage again. So what they are doing there? Is it cooking?
No, tying up, helping, preparing for the next next set. I think.
It's amazing how colorful the scenery is. Even the backdrop is in bright yellow. So
yeah, so the SL actually brings out the whole color itself to just show you how vibrant it can be.
actually, are you still with them? So do you plan to do another session in the upcoming year, or is it done? Is the project finished?
No, it's just going on. I mean, if they are around, why not? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen this year. I don't know what they're going to show me.
So whenever you have the chance to be with them, you will do.
Yeah, it's one of the thing about photography, and I hope that everyone has it. That yes, you probably have seen it, and I mean you have to approach everything you shoot with a beginner's heart, with something that you can discover. Photography is very personal. It's about, to me, it's about understanding about the situation, the things happening in front of me. So you must approach it with a beginner's heart, empty heart, and the curiosity to just shoot and document and hopefully find out something about it. It is, to me, something to be kept by myself. It's my own learning, my own understanding. So I don't know what they're going to do this year. I don't know what's going to present to me this year, but I am interested in this subject. Just go and then discover more. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Empty heart for you means you don't predict anything, you don't expect anything, you just go there and just see what's going to happen.
Yes. So I approach this, and then I also approach in such a way that, hey, this year I'm using the SL. I don't know what I can do with it. I don't know how it's gonna appear to me, but let's see. And if I don't approach it with the Nike 280, I probably don't have that shot. I don't approach it with this, maybe I don't have this. So you don't know what you're gonna get. but you have to have the curiosity to find out. But sometimes it kills you, but it's okay. Yeah, just make sure that you are safe. Yeah.
Okay then. As always, we are running a little bit out of time because it's always definitely more interesting than we schedule in our time. So yeah, we will maybe have a look at one or two pictures, and then yeah, we will do the final question session. So this one, if I remember right,
Yeah, the drum side. Yes, correct.
left side. On
Right. If you are at the backstage, you will. If you are facing the front part of the stage, you'll be on your right. So if you are facing the back part, you're on your left. Yeah, the drum side. Yes.
and they all really like to smoke during.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay, then I think this one is the first last one. If I'm, is this the last one or?
No, the last one is one more. I think that's this. Yeah, I was shooting through.
I would recommend that
Yeah.
we will have a final look at the last one, and I think this guy is a preferred one of you.
Yeah.
So
He was just monitoring the stage, the performance at the stage. Yeah.
but he's not happy.
He's happy. He's okay. He's just he's just like that. He's okay. He's okay.
How long is one session approximately? Like
Sometimes they perform from 7 to 10. Yeah, and then once they set up the stage, they probably perform for 3 days.
okay, so one session per day, 3 days in a row.
Yes.
Because I know that opera can be very, very long. Like I've seen an opera which was about 5 hours, and
Mini series, mostly a mini series. That means it's like one series about 30 minutes to an hour sometimes. Yeah.
We have another question here, which are also related to your gear. So
Okay.
would there be something different if you would use any other gear, or what makes it so special for you to use your SL and M camera, or would you don't mind to change?
Okay. The if you so-called you select your tools so that you can create the pictures that you want. So one thing about SL, if you notice the second series, the handling of the especially the lenses in SL, the handling of the backlights are much more well controlled compared to certain lenses. So it is very, very important. It's like when you look at Van Gogh, the blue, the color blue is different because his understanding of the color blue and his way of depicting the blue and how he want to get that blue color, the punchiness color is very important. So if you want to shoot certain thing, look at your gear, think about it, how it perform, what are the things that you're able to work with, and that is in the gear selection process, how you want to create with the final picture in mind, what kind of so-called gear you should think about, and then to create that final picture, and that is important. So when at the later part of the series, you see that the bright backlights are very, very much well controlled. Okay, that is technology as it move forward, as it takes one step forward, what you are able to do. Instead, last time you're only able to do 1 to 10, 1 to 5. Now you can do 1 to 7, 1 to 9. So that is in that manner. Yeah.
But I mean, some people could say that everything with color can be managed in post-processing. So why is it so important to get the right color at when you're taking the picture instead of doing
you can post-process the color, but you cannot post-process how the light. So you can spend 10 days processing one color, I only need to do one, and I need to perform every time the same standard as it going to be. So if let's say that if I have the right equipment, my processing time actually lessen. Let's say in a session, I shoot about 100 photos. Are you going to spend 8 hours to process it, or you're just going to make sure that, okay, I know how the thing's performing. All I need to do is apply the things that I always apply, and it will come out the colors that I want. And that is important. I mean, the processing time is time, but you need to shorten that. Okay, you can't be sitting in front of your computer processing every day. Yeah.
Understand. You've convinced me. So Casey, I hope not only for me, I hope for everybody. It was very interesting, and thank you very much that you gave us a little bit of the insights of your project and the work that you are doing. We are now on almost the end of the session. For everybody, of course, feel free to ask some final questions in the chat box. But before we do that, I would like to say thank you, Casey, and next time they are in the city, I hope you let me know and let all of us know, so we can get some tickets to join you. I will come back to you regarding that. Okay, so let's have a look at the final questions. So
yeah,
how do you make your black so black?
Okay.
Funny one.
Okay, okay. Okay. First thing is this: you have to understand that. Okay. I'm talking about in Lightroom here, since that's just what I use mostly for my editing. It is two things that you have to look at. There is a black and white in Lightroom that you always use. Okay. So there's a black and white. That's not for you to edit. That is to tell the printer where is the limit of your black and where's the limit of your white. So that is
minus and plus 15, right?
Yeah. That you have to set that. That is the limit of the paper you want to print. A lot of people use it to so-called darken it, and then yes, you can do that. It is not wrong. It is also, you can do that to decrease to make the black darker, but that is not the way. If you use that, you lose the printing limit, and the system will not show you where are your limits. You have to use curves. So there is actually tonal curve. So you have to use the dark and shadows to complement how much darkness you want. But again, you have to ensure that whatever in the darkness, you have to ensure that those are things that are not important and you do not need them. Okay. If something is important in the darkness, then you have to so-called think about it and see whether you want to actually darken it or not. Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, it always depends also on your style, like what you prefer. I know that
yes,
a lot of, for example, black and white photographers nowadays, they tend to go more into the high contrast direction.
yeah.
So very dark blacks and very bright whites, so that you really have these spots where it's totally dark and totally white, and they only work with main contrast.
Yeah. So it's not about increasing your contrast. It's about how much dark tone you want to add to it with the limit of the paper you are printing on. So you have to think about what paper you would like to print on, and then you edit to that paper. It's like a normal dark room, okay? That the type of paper, the amount of exposure, that gives you that tone. Yeah.
Do you print actually? So do you print your favorite pictures and put them on the wall?
Yeah, I print. I do. For me, is I do hand printing. Yeah. So it's always hand prints. Yeah. So
hand print.
Yeah, hand prints. Yeah. So normally I will just do hand print like this. So it's like hand printing, and then it's normal darkroom printing. Yeah.
Okay. One question here regarding your knuckle lux. So do you send the Nactilux for calibration?
Okay. Nautilus is a very delicate instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I have used a lot of Nautilus, and not all Nautilus are the same unless you calibrate them and come back. The thing about this is after you calibrate them, don't let other people touch it unnecessarily, because it goes in a sort of a, when you have your M and your Nautilus, especially M, it is sort of a set, and if both are calibrated nicely, great, that work nice, very good. Just maintain it. Make sure that the person who touch it actually know how to work with the M, and then it doesn't go out of focus that easily. It always, most of the case is when you go out of focus and you don't know about it, and then you have to send back for recalibrating. So that is my thought. But on the SL, you don't need that much of calibrating, because SL basically any lens and any manual lens on it, you can sharp focus it mostly.
Okay, so the final questions, I think now I'm able to answer them. For those who have joined us a little bit later, we will upload this Zoom session to Facebook, so you can see the whole session by yourself, and also, of course, see the black and whites that we've been showing earlier. And the final question before we will finish this session is, do we see more of sessions with Casey? So we will discuss that with Casey. Maybe he's interested. I think he is, and then we will let you know very soon. But please also keep in mind we have some upcoming other sessions for the Leica conversation with different people, and yeah, you are all gladly invited to join, and hope you will. And I really hope this session was as interesting for you guys as for me today. I've learned a lot. And Casey, to you, thanks again for being here with us. And I hope we will see you in the near future to share more about your stories and also photography tips. And I think after that session you will get a lot of private messages from people who are asking you for how to do this and that.
Cool, Ken. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Casey. And yeah, thank you to everybody who has joined today. We are done for the session today, and have a nice weekend. Goodbye.
Thank you.